not just identifying, but also developing talent here in the United States, which is the biggest component of growing the game of soccer. And to that point, wanted to chat a little bit about what the U17s have done. Qualified for the U17 World Cup, the U.S. U17 squad yesterday did that 1-1 draw against the Dominican Republic to finish top of the Group E in the CONCACAF U17 qualifiers and book a 20th appearance to the 2026 U17 World Cup in Qatar this fall. I know we chatted yesterday about the development in some of that younger squad, but what did you see out of this one, Ryan, and what's your biggest takeaway from it?
Again, I'd be lying to the people at home that to say that I watch these games close, and
Yeah,
not many people do unless you follow the team. But again, a couple of years ago, Taylor Twellman talked about. I think it was heading into the 2020, well, 2020 or 2021 Summer Olympics. Again, I don't know what the exact year was because of all the COVID stuff, but he mentioned that he was upset that fans were like, "Who cares if you make the Olympics? Who cares if you don't make it? It's U17. Who cares?" And Twelman
yeah,
mentioned a really good point, and he said, "No, it absolutely matters because you get these group of guys in a tournament like environment and in the biggest competition in U17 soccer in the world, you get all these guys in an environment together for the first time. And eventually some of these players are
yeah,
going to trickle in into the U23s, and then the senior team, excuse me, and some will eventually make it into
hmm
the senior team for the World Cup. So we get these guys together one time, compete against the best U17 soccer players in the world. I would say for the most part, because I feel like if you're 17, you're really really good at the age of 17. You might not be playing
yeah,
in this, but it gets these Americans in tournaments together, and also how do we stack up against the world? How does our young
yeah,
talent stack up against a France? How does it stack up against a Spain? How does it stack up against a Brazil? We get to see that, and you can help adjust your development. You can help adjust those players in that team that group together their development for the men's national team, and eventually, as a federation, you can maybe adjust a little bit of things based on what you see. But ever since we failed to make the World Cup in 2018, it feels like, and I think that every team that could make a World Cup could make an Olympics. They've all made it, whatever age that is, U23, U17, whatever you want to call it, U20, whatever you want to call it. So it feels like everyone is kind of making all these tournaments, and that's a great step in the right direction in terms of getting our development as a nation, our development as players, and also telling the world that, we're not messing around anymore. We are taking this soccer game super seriously and our development in this country super seriously. And it just gets all of our players in one tournament spot again. And any sort of jitters that they get to a senior World Cup, they're not super scared. Or they get to a senior Gold Cup, they're not scared. A senior Copa America, they're not scared because they've already been on the biggest stage at the age of 17, at the age of 19, at
yeah,
the age of 20, 21, and
yeah.
so forth, and so on. So no, I think that's massive for us to continue to compete in these World Cups at the youth level.
Winning is a learned behavior. And I've said that on this show before. I've said it in general. Like, it is something that once you learn how to win as a group and with the people that are around you, that translates directly up the ladder because you know what it takes to win in high leverage situations. You've been in high leverage situations. That has been something that has been thrust upon you, and you have to respond. And I've seen it before when you teach a group of players that all come up together, whether they're developing together through like a minor league system or they're coming up through college together. When they have all that time and all that experience around each other in games, to your point, to where they have that experience of being in knockout games and being in competitions where there is something tangible at the end of the line, especially if you're USA soccer, because you're not supposed to be there and you're not supposed to win it. If you can win those games, then the mental edge that gives you is something that you carry with you for the rest of your career. So to that point, Ryan, because we are a country that has not really ever won anything of note in the sport of soccer, minus on the women's side, ladies, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the guys here. Um because we are in a position to where we've never done anything of note in that way, every single potential medal, cup, championship trophy. I don't care if it's a makeshift plastic trophy you put on your shelf somewhere. I don't care if it's in some dude's backyard. Like, if there is a championship or something in which we can hold over our heads, we should absolutely be putting our best foot forward and doing everything we can to go out and win it. And I don't care what it is or what it looks like. Like, we don't, as on the men's side in the United States, we don't have the luxury of being like, oh, we're too good for that. Oh, we're above that. What, whether it be the Gold Cup, whether it be the CONCACAF, this, that, or the other thing. I don't care if they make up a cup tomorrow and they include 2 teams in it and it's just us and Mexico. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if it's 1 a.m. I don't like, if there is something on the line and we are a part of it, go get it, go win it, because we haven't won anything yet. I just said the other day, like, we always want to be like, well, let's do it our way. There is no our way. We have won nothing of note. Okay, so all of those should mean something. And this is directly why it was so frustrating when all those guys didn't show up for the Gold Cup this summer. It's for that exact reason. Like, it doesn't seem like, okay, whatever, the U17 team qualified for the World Cup and they beat down on countries that most people otherwise never have heard of. But it's like, yes, but it still means something. Like, they're still in it. They're still competing. They're still, so all of that added up, we have nothing that we can hang our hat on truly as a soccer playing country on the men's side. So may as well be part of every tournament and everything that you can potentially go win. Go chase it. I like it. And in winning in high level games and mentally being in those high leverage situations are only going to make them better in the long run.
So we've talked about it on the show a couple of times then, about the Gold Cup doesn't truly matter if we win it. So then if obviously we don't win much outside of the Gold Cup or Nations League, do we have to win those every single time then? If we're talking about a learned behavior?
I'm just talking about, like, it not that necessarily the Gold Cup itself matters. Like, we're not going to run around and celebrate a Gold Cup like, hey, we've arrived as a soccer playing country, but beating Mexico matters. Beating Canada matters. Dominating CONCACAF matters. Yes, absolutely. I mean, control what you can control, right? And what we can control, when we're not talking about, obviously, World Cup time. Now, this next 4 months is going to be completely different. But outside of that, what you can control is you are in CONCACAF. So dominate CONCACAF. You should be beating Mexico every time. You should be beating Canada now. I know that's not realistic. That's not how the sport works. But that's what I'm talking about. It's not that the Gold Cup itself,
we could beat those 2 all the time. Their best team.
It's not that the Gold Cup really means anything. The trophy itself doesn't mean shit. It just means that we are the best team in CONCACAF. That's what we can control. So let's go do it. So that's what it means. The trophy itself is whatever,
Yeah,
any of the trophies.
I don't think we've ever
even
won
the Nations
World
League.
Cup. We've never won an Olympics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, but we have to be in these environments, because I remember a couple of years ago we beat I forget what team it was, but they're all kind of like trickling in now. Conrad De La Fuente was on that team. I forgot exactly who all of them were, but we beat France, and like in the round of 16 of a U20 World Cup or something. And,
I
and
remember
it was
that. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I forget who. Maybe Gio Reyna was on that team. But no, it's like, if you can beat a team like that, how much could your confidence grow, especially with within that group of players that are eventually going to make it to the senior team. So it's massive in that sense.
Didn't the U20s just beat Italy this year? I thought they beat Italy in their World Cup.
They did.
And
so they beat France this year in the U20, but we did technically beat when they were eventually, some of those players eventually won a World Cup with France. So if we can beat them on the U20 level, that's hopefully that translates. But again, at the same time, I think though you have to take it a little bit with the U20, U17. When you beat a nation like a France, some of their best players in that
with a grain of salt,
might not be there. But at the same time, those kids, those players, shouldn't say kids, those players eventually are going to think that they can beat a France. And when we come into, again, not all those players from the U20 teams and U17 teams will eventually translate. That's not realistic. But they do finally have that, like, that belief that they can finally do it. And that's ultimately
Yeah.
the US's next goal as a soccer federation, is how can we beat
Yeah.
that next level of teams, the Frances, the Colombias, the Brazils. Quite frankly, we really haven't done it ever. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what our next
Even
goal.
if it is a foolish belief that they belong, I'm okay with that. Like, even if it's like it almost kind of reeks of when the Tigers were in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Like when they went on that unbelievable run at the very end, it's like they don't even know that they shouldn't be here right now. Like they're completely clueless, but they're playing as if they do belong because it's just this
A
foolish
foolish
belief that
belief
they
within
have
the players. Is that what you're
within the
saying?
players. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like a foolish confidence, but that's what I saw out of the U20s when they did what they did. But no, I think you make a great point in them being involved and how these things actually mean something. It means something to us. It might not mean something to the rest of the world who's like, we very realistically could go win a World Cup this year. Great. Well, that's not where we are. We want to compete. And so you like to see it and you like to hear about it too. But let's take a break, come back. We got some Premier League conversation. We're talking about Tottenham a little bit earlier. The Spurs just sacked their manager. They have been a bad run of form, I think, is an understatement, as opposed
And in
to
history.
and in history how they've been doing lately. But we'll take a break here really quickly. Come back. We'll talk a little bit about the Spurs on the other side here on Inside the Game.